The recent Facebook security breach put as many as 30 million users at risk, exposing personal information. I recently sat down with Darcy Fortune, the digital PR analyst at Garvey Communications in Ludlow, and digital marketing analyst James Garvey to learn more about how consumers and businesses can minimize their risk.
So what happened was this imposter scam. There was a breach on this feature called View As. Now that feature lets you look at your profile as if you were someone from the public or as if you were a friend of you or yourself. So there was a breach of that feature. Hackers pulled data from there, and I think it affected about 30 million people. Yeah. The thing to think about is, what do you have there? What do you have for your personal information? You have these options to share as much as you want or as little as you want.
And what do you think most people have? So their name, maybe a phone number.
Right, there's so many different fields that you can fill out within these social media platforms. You can enter where you live, where you've worked, what books you like to read, what movies you like to read, but it's all up to you. So you don't actually have to enter all that information. So I think it's important to keep that in mind when you're using these platforms. What do I want people to know? What do I want my friends to know about me? And what's public?
And when you talk about 30 million, that's a lot of people. How would you know if you were one of those people that were hacked?
I think in most cases, Facebook has pushed a notification when you log into these users. And oftentimes, they'll prompt you to either change your password or recommend some action that you can take to secure your profile.
And what would you recommend for people as far as, going forward? I mean, it doesn't really appear from what I can see in my limited use of Facebook that people have stopped using it. I mean, have you noticed that there's been a dip?
I haven't noticed, no, but I think the important thing is to remain vigilant. If you're receiving friend requests from people that you think that you've already been friends with, you need to reach out to that person and say, did you create a new Facebook page? Because I just received a friend request from you, and don't accept people that you don't know. Also, don't click on links that look suspicious. Right. Don't fill out surveys with information about yourself if you don't want that out there. There's so many things to think about, but it's online safety as a whole. Make sure you're changing your passwords frequently, not using the same password across every single site online.
Let's talk a little bit about businesses, and especially people who have the job of being an administrator of a site or one of the administrators of a site. What kind of risk does this pose?
Well, as an administrator or someone with admin credentials on a Facebook page, you need to be very careful about your activity personally on Facebook. Business accounts and pages on Facebook are controlled by individual users' profiles. And in this most recent occurrence, those profiles, some people's profiles, were their account information was made vulnerable. Well, that risk is in some ways amplified for someone who has administrative access to a business page. Obviously, businesses pass a lot of information back and forth through these channels with their customers, and you need to be very careful about what you're doing on the platforms if you do have credentialed access to these pages.
And this was the second big breach. Of course, there was the one earlier in the year with Cambridge Analytica. So, I mean, that was something that I think, rattled a lot of people, is just the risk associated with being public online. Do people have to assume that there's going to be some sort of a risk if you're putting pictures out there of family vacations, checking in downtown Springfield? Is this just something that you have to be, ready for?
When you sign up for these social media platforms, there are privacy policies. Many people don't read them, but they're saying in those policies that you're signing up with them, you're giving them your information. You can touch a little bit more about the Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, I mean, Darcy's right. I mean, there are definitely policies there to attempt to make users aware of how these platforms work. These social media companies, these sites, are in the business of data. And in these most recent occurrences, data is removed or taken from the sites improperly. We pay for access to Facebook. We pay with our data, with the information that Facebook or these other social media sites collect on us. and they use that data. They provide access, anonymous access to that data to marketers, so we can reach their followings. Facebook recently has taken major strides in attempting to secure users' data and their activity on the platform.
When you think about this and you think about businesses, I mean, this just seems to be the way it is now, right? Everybody's on social media. Obviously, it can be extremely helpful. And it's not just Facebook. I mean, it seems like the teens are more on Instagram and Snapchat. And of course, those could be vulnerable as well. Is that correct?
This spreads across all social media. But I think the thing to keep in mind is a lot of this is a little bit hyped. It's a time where, digitally, everything is evolving. Things are going to happen, but we partner with these platforms, and they're doing everything they can to make it safe for their users and to make it easy for us marketers to just give you ads and give you messages that's relevant to you. That's our mission. So.
Yeah, the collection of data, or the practical use of this data when it comes to these different social media platforms, is that we have the ability to use that data to serve relevant messaging to you. And that's essentially the business back end of Facebook, right, is reaching users with content or advertisements that have some relevance to you, that have some meaning or context.
As many in Massachusetts